David, a real positive result here this afternoon in Cumbernauld. What's your overall take on the team's winning performance?
Excellent. Some of the attacking play was really good. Obviously we want to try and avoid having to go and score more than 3 and 4 goals to win a game, so there's a little bit of frustration in there, and that's one, normally we're going after a game, we speak to the players. You would maybe speak first, but I asked them the question how they were feeling, and the first thing they spoke about was just feeling frustrated because they obviously haven't lost 3 goals, 2 from set plays, 2 from corner kicks, and 1 from the penalty kick. They're all controllable moments, so they're bits that the lads immediately think about, but I had to remind them of how they got to 6 goals in the first instance. Some of their forward play was at a really high level, but there's also parts of the second half where maybe we're trying to score every time we had the ball. We speak about this before about sometimes just about controlling the game and take this thing out of it. So some good conversations, but a lot of positivity to take out it with some frustration at the same time.
6 different goal scorers, is that quite pleasing from your point of view, having the variety across the pitch?
No question. I think you look at each one of their own merit. I think the first one's so early on from a penalty kick, obviously, but I think the intent that we had early on was to try and get against their back line and make sure we threatened runs, which we had, and great ball through, and Rosso gets pulled down for the penalty. Obviously Charlie McCallum steps up and passes it in. Thereafter, I think Connor Young's individual goal was sensational, right in the top corner. I don't think any keeper saving that one. The third one comes from a great combination play set up by Zach in towards Charlie Lindsay, who passed into the corner. So there's some real good goals in there, and ones that we can be pleased with. And that's reflective of how we want to look as a team.
And how important was the early goals to set the tone for the rest of the game?
It always helps, doesn't it? I think when you get the goal early, you can settle down a little bit, and you don't need to keep trying to probe and feel like you've got to break down a team that are protecting their final third. Obviously at that point when they're behind, they've got to come out a little bit, so that maybe helped us to try and open up a little bit more to get the second and third goals. But listen, I think that we're trying to educate this team that the different scenarios are presented with, that sometimes you need to be patient, sometimes you need to probe, sometimes you need to go really quickly if the opportunity allows. So it's try to find that understanding. And as I say, I think the bit in the second half is that we're trying to paint a picture that we don't have to keep going. There's a little bit we need to spend some time in the attacking half, but play with control and patience without trying to open them up every time.
Both Zach and Connor making an impact again and getting on the score sheet in this fixture. How important do you think that is for them to sort of integrate into this league so early on in the campaign?
I think it's not so much the league, it's more about the team and the group, and try to understand how we play, because they've came from teams that play in different ways, so we try to get them to understand how we want to look, have different tweaks in there, as each game and training session goes by, so they understand a little bit more that we won't necessarily be the same every week, and how they fit into that, and the speed that we want to play at, and where we want to try and play in the pockets of the opposition structure. But that's something, as I say, they're learning, and I think it's important to say that Robbie O'Ewe's obviously playing that area of the pitch as well, and he's trying to build that relationship with them as well. I thought Robbie was obviously a part of today's performance, but unfortunately not necessarily getting the score sheet, but I think he had an impact in the performance as well.